All right, guys, we're back. Episode 7 with Jeremy Albrecht. We've had a good conversation, catching up on some good times, some good memories, talking about life, where we at now, talking about me taking out some lappers. You might have to edit that out, but you know, and the next thing you know, now I'm looking at this list, this paper, and Jbone has some notes. And there's some memories on here, so you're gonna have to explain what this stuff is. Some of this stuff I know, but what's up with this list?
Yeah, really, I kind of put some notes down just to jog my memory if we were sitting here doing this show and it went stale, but that hasn't happened, so I didn't really need the list anyway. Like, I was just trying to think, like, man, we have so many things that we have done together that I was like, if I get there and I can't think of anything, that's going to look stupid. I go all the way down there and I can't even remember anything.
I couldn't believe you had a list. We're driving down here from the airport this morning, and Jbone's like, "Oh, check out this list I got."
Yeah, I just want to do notes in case I needed them. I was just doing it on my phone. And
well, there's some good.
If you're like, hey, what are we going to talk about? But you know, it actually has been easy. We just talk about everything we already know.
Yeah,
let's talk about the old days.
All right.
So the first thing is my wedding. You went to my wedding, which was cool.
100%. He's clueless on this one.
Yeah,
you have no idea.
What?
So we had a good time. You were dancing. We had a great time. Like
in Vegas,
sweating. Do you remember? I have pictures of you sweaty.
Yeah, I mean,
we had so much fun. But anyway,
it gets better.
You came to my wedding, my wife and I, not just my wedding, and you didn't pay the hotel bill. Did you know that?
No, for real.
I think back then, because everywhere you go, it's paid for by the race.
You're just a kid.
By the team. So you came there, you're probably 17 or 18.
Probably
you were 17.
How he's paying for it.
Yeah, and you just left.
No, for real?
Yeah.
First thing
we laughed about it. My wife and I laugh about it all the time.
Oh, man, like.
But I look at you and
you invited me, so I.
That's right.
I did know that.
That's pretty funny, huh?
Wow.
Like you think about it like now.
All the things you were gonna say, that's not the one I was thinking. I'm like, all right, well, he's got.
No, I don't have anything except for how much you just checked out of your hotel, left, and they're like, hey,
that's what you do.
Who's gonna pay this bill? I'm like,
that's what you do at the race.
I got it.
That was at
Green Valley Ranch.
Yeah, place was awesome on there. That was. You probably had some
funny, right?
Pool. It's wrong. Yeah, I didn't know. It was not on purpose. Clearly,
I knew it wasn't, but I love that. That's the first.
Damn.
On the list.
Yeah. I just knew he didn't know because you wouldn't do that if you knew.
No. I mean, I was at the pool. You know, trying to get the pool.
No hard feelings. I just think it's funny at where you're at in your life and the age you are, and I remember the other thing you said too is you're like, man, I had this weird feeling like it was weird. Like, I don't know what it even was. Like, I kind of wanted to cry, but I'm not hurt. Like, I don't, and I'm like, oh, he's getting emotional. Yeah. Like, he got a little emotional. And dude, he's like, I don't know. No, it wasn't that because I wasn't even hurt.
What? It was probably when I was sipping on the dancing. What? I mean, yeah, it probably was. I stopped drinking when I turned 21. So.
It's probably a good thing. You probably shouldn't have done it earlier. But.
Yeah, with Pete Fox, you know which one. Pete Fox, man. Probably get him arrested by telling this. It's been 10 years, right? Is
that the rule? 10 years?
I think so.
Yeah. I went down we took me on vacation down in Bahamas, and I thought I was tough, and there was some yellow lemon drops.
Oh, yeah.
Lemon drops.
Shots, yeah.
And, bruh, I have like 4 lemon drops. And I was just doing it. He's like, no, slow down. I'm like, man, whatever. James Stewart, you know? Yeah. And, dude, he literally carried me up to my room. I was in the room 2 days. Oh, no. 2 days. It was bad. Yeah, that's really bad. I was like,
I've been bad. I don't think I've ever been 2 days bad.
No, I was bad. Yeah, we got to ask Pete about that. And he was laughing, and I was like, I mean, it was bad. But 2 days in a room, ruined the vacation on there because I was like, thought I was, man, wasn't even 18, whatever. Yeah, and down there you can drink at 18. So
that's what I was saying. Credit, maybe.
Yeah. So maybe I was close, but yeah, we were down there. That was bad time. So I truly when I stopped, or after I went down Newport Beach.
Oh yeah, I heard you rode down through the sand, right? Almost hit like one of those poles or something for the.
Oh yeah.
Did I tell you that story?
With Ronnie, right?
No, with
Ronnie
Alex.
Nelson and Alex.
But it was Ronnie Nelson's house.
Yeah.
Was it Ronnie Nelson's house?
Yeah.
I don't even know whose house we were at.
Yeah, it was
on
Ronnie's.
there. I just remember that one girl that she was saying the mind is a powerful thing. And she was like, the mind tells you about pain. And so she was like, I could put my hand over this fire, my arm over this fire. We had a bomb, and it won't hurt me because my mind's telling me. So she did it on there, and she was like, I was like, damn, all right. 10 minutes later, she's in the room like, like burnt her hand up on that. like yeah.
Chicken sandwich.
We'll get to that.
It's on my list.
We'll get to the chicken sandwich.
So yeah, it was it was fun, but I'm sorry, man. I mean,
no, you don't have to be sorry. I just thought that it was a funny story.
Yeah, no, I did not know that. You live and learn, and I didn't pay that bill.
Yeah, all good. We got you.
It was about as bad as Buddy's Anthony's pants. He had capris on.
Yeah, his kid was actually young then, because now Boston's way bigger than him, so it wouldn't be funny. Really? But at the time, we're like, oh, you're wearing Boston's pants?
Yeah, and you guys, Buddy Anthony is what, 3-time arena cross champion? Good guy. 6-time. Yeah, 6-time, maybe. Yeah, dominant. And I passed him one in 2002 to get second place over in, or actually, he might have been the one that won that moto. But nonetheless.
Where?
In 2002, the only race I lost, only moto I lost besides the one I did at Spring Creek at Reed in 2002, like after my bike blew up. Like, remember I crashed in the first corner at Redbud, came back, and I remember how big that was. I know we're jumping off subject, but I remember getting second place, how big that was for me and confidence-wise, because it was the first time I was able to come to the back of the pack without crashing and salvage a position. So getting second place, it showed the team, showed me that okay, he's in it for the championship. Because in Supercross, I get a bad start, you can guarantee you put at least 2 crashes in there, it was gonna happen. And in other races that I won that year previously, it was like a whole shot to be up there and just dip out on them. So that was the first race I came from last to second, and then I won up the next year at Butts Creek.
Yeah, that's on last list.
Yeah. So yeah, and Buddy Anthony, I passed him. I think I passed him for second, and Danny Smith or somebody else won on the Suzuki. So
good memory you got. I don't have that one.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then I had Daytona. These are all random, not even in order, but Daytona, when you won at Daytona, when things were going really terrible on our team, like the timing of it, this is JGR. The timing of it was cool, and it was muddy, not great conditions. We tried every tire Pirelli had that day. Yeah. And then both of you guys were out front. I think Davey was actually leading.
Yeah.
You had to beat him.
Yeah, I had to beat him. I was so mad. I'm like, dude, you're the second guy. Let me win. Yeah. We need it.
So you went 1-2. But earlier in that day, what was cool is you wanted to put 259 on your bike, and we couldn't do it. We could only do it in a free practice.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we put it on just for the free practice.
Why did we do it that
15 minutes.
I don't remember what.
That's because that's
how trying to get us back to the roots.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Things were so bad, and we were struggling that we were just maybe 259 will work.
We should try that every week.
Yeah, it worked.
Maybe we should do that every week.
It worked. It worked for that weekend. But yeah, it was a blue 259. But yeah, we did that. It was free practice, and that was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool to do. Yeah, that whole bike, we had so many cool parts on it. I remember Ty Gibbs was there. He's in the photo. He's a little tiny kid back then. Now he's a racer in NASCAR. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Just the timing of it.
Yeah, it was. There was 3 races because we actually started rodding pretty good. Even in the second race in Phoenix. I rode pretty good. I was sick.
Yeah, I remember you kept launching this one wall jump out super fast. You got a bad start or something, but you're riding great.
Yeah, I ran in the back of short on there right before the mechanics there. But I was riding pretty good on there, and I actually rode really well in the heat race. That's where that 2-for-1 special came up there. And then the next race was Anaheim 2. Yeah, I think it was Anaheim 2, one of them. And trying to think what happened that race. Maybe it wasn't Anaheim 2. I think there was only 2 Anaheims that year. But nonetheless.
You did win Oakland.
I won Oakland, and that was cool because we just lost Tex that time. I was speaking about him the other day.
I remember how mad you were when you called me that he didn't show up.
Yeah.
That's not like him.
I felt so bad.
Honestly, he didn't even work on our team. We had to let him go. And we still stayed friends. He was actually awesome, good dude, worked hard. That's a guy in your corner.
Yeah.
He gets in probably too much. You're like, dude, you get back it down. You don't got to be like that. But he was a good dude. And I remember he was helping some girl put gas in her car or something.
Yeah.
Is that what he was doing?
Yeah. On the side of the freeway down here in Florida.
Yeah, up like towards Volusia County, like Daytona area. Like he stops, and that's what kind of person he was. Like he was, you know, he cared, and he was like when I remember when he first came, he was a little awkward. You know, just not just personality.
Where did he come? Who? You guys brought him, right?
He had a big head. That's what we used to mess with him. Like he had a big old head, and but then like he was my practice mechanic. And then like we just started connecting. Like I'm like, he's a good dude, and like we were out here like doing our stuff. And then one day, like it was like we rode at night, and then the next day, like or soon after there, like he didn't show up. And then so I'm like, I'm here waiting to ride. I'm calling him, nothing. And then I think his mom called or somebody. I think she actually called the house. And told her sister, somebody called, and then he was
did
like,
he come? Was it through Gibbs or?
He wanted somebody. He wanted somebody new. I don't know what.
A little younger.
And so I'm like, I got the perfect guy. Like, because he's a tough personality to work on a team, but a really good guy in your corner. So that's what that's why I thought he would be good for you, because he'll be here just for you, and that's what he was good at.
Yeah, yeah.
Working with other people, we used to call them texgestions, because it had to be his way.
Yeah,
because he's pretty stubborn, and everything you do, he had like, why don't you do it this way?
Yes,
always.
That's what it was, and but
it
gets
annoying, But I'm like, so then everyone hated him on the team.
Yeah,
but they liked him at the same time. So it's this weird thing, and then we're like, man, this just isn't working. We're all fighting, and this guy, everything we do, he has a different way we should do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was an awesome person, and I'm glad that you got to meet him, and he did a good job.
And yeah, I know he did a good job, and it was just crazy how we found out. Like he was up there, I think, seen his girlfriend or whatever, and this lady was on the side of the road, like she had a flat tire. So being Tex, who he is, pulled over to help her in the middle of the night, and he gets hit by a car.
That's great.
Yeah, and that was it. And then it was just like so that. We all got close to him, the whole team. So we went into Oakland that night, and I don't know, man. It wasn't like we were like trending like the right way. We just something about that night. I swear it had to be him, because it was just perfect. We wasn't even fast in practice, and heat race, Villo ran me down, and was still struggling. But that main event, it was like probably one of the easiest races I won. I remember just riding and went past Chad, who was riding good that year, and dropped Villo, and it was his first win as a team. So it was cool after that, and that
was Pirelli's first win too. They were pretty excited because that was a new tire they brought.
Yeah, well, second win as a team for those guys, but first win for us that year. And then reality hit the next weekend. I actually rode pretty good. That's when I clipped that little on-off thing and heat race, and went down at Anaheim 2 or Anaheim 3, laid out. But then I came back and I got second in the main event, struggling. I mean, I was hurting that. Right here, a wheel tap thing gets a little light, hand goes off, laid up. Oh, take me, Jesus. Yeah. See, and those are the things right there that
that's weird.
It killed me, because like normally like I couldn't tell where the bike was. Like I can't feel the rear end or feel the way the suspension was, and that thing slipped, but my hand falls off right here. And then I end up breaking a rib or something and land. The
hard part is when you do it, you do it well.
Whatever
it is, winning, crashing, whatever, you go all out.
And the thing was, I mean, I came back and I passed Reed doing that same thing in the main event, and again, it's like with that, it was so hard, because I'm like, I can't tell what I'm doing wrong, but like, it's not like I don't feel like I'm doing something wrong, so I kept continuing like doing it. It's, normally if you crash in the whoops or you do something, you're like, I don't hit that line. But if I would have like bled into that and believed like, well, I don't know what this bike's going to do, I would have just never raced, period, because I didn't know when it was going to happen. So I kept continuing like being who I was, and just like, I'll figure it out, until I was sitting on that hay bale. And so then I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And then
the next thing I had on my list was just like how you used to do those dances after the races were over. I thought it was cool. Like some 50 kid just started doing it this year. I think the sprinkler, like what you did back in the day. Like you know, I wish I would encourage you to do it more because I thought it was cool. I think people gave you a hard time that you were kind of being too arrogant or something. But
were people not into it?
I think the fans were mad, right?
No, it was the industry. The fans loved it on there. They were having signs and stuff. But you had like certain fans that, you know, like thinking about it now, they had issues with me, period, you know. But like I was doing it, you know, the first time I did it was at Houston in 2004. And I think the fans, they didn't have a problem with me doing the sprinkler, or the people didn't have a problem with me doing it and dancing. It was the fact that they wanted me to move up that year, and I stayed and rode the East Coast again. So they thought, you know, I had Sandbagger, you know, big old signs up in the stands, Sandbagger, and you know, so they were more upset that I didn't go race for Ricky than him. So doing the sprinkler was like, you know, rubbing it in their face.
Yeah.
But they didn't realize I was like, you know, just 17 years old, just turned 18.
That's crazy to think back.
Yeah. So that's what it was. So the people didn't have it. I think it was more that. And then, but yeah.
But I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Oh, so did I.
But
should have did more of it.
Yeah, I stopped doing it because like I didn't feel like it'd be one thing. Like some people have problems, but like I didn't sense that. Like even Cowie, I don't think they were like.
Well, how was Feld's?
Oh, they loved it.
Oh,
they loved it.
Yeah, I would think. I don't know anyone that didn't like it.
Yeah,
Kawasaki was fine.
I think it was more they didn't.
I think they might have maybe thought it was going to turn the fans against.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what it was. They weren't encouraging it. Nobody didn't like it. It was just the fact that like, well, maybe.
Well, I think you were like the first guy to do it, which is pretty cool. Like who else thought to do something like that?
Well, it's like the opening ceremonies. Like when you turn in those videos, like I was the first person to do that. So, I mean, part of our job is entertainment. Yeah. So I just thought I enjoyed. I was going to win the race because I had my skit done. Like I wanted to get the skit in there.
This isn't on here. Do you remember Endoing on the parade lap?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, 2007. That was a tough night. We crashed in the main event.
Wheelie, wrecked. I had to change a lever on the line and a front number plate.
That's like
like broke it off. It's like your biggest fear just happened. You have no time.
Yeah, and when I mean I wrecked, I crashed.
Yeah.
Like,
where were you?
San Diego. Yeah, San Diego 2007. And I know why I haven't. You know, like back then they probably still do it, but on the Bobcats they'll get up there and they'll sit the Bobcat and smooth it down. Well, when you do that, it puts like a little indentation on like, you know, wherever you set it down at. So when I was doing the nose wheelie, I did it in practice a couple times. They did it. They cleaned the track up between the practice and the heat races. So when I went up to go do it, I was the first person on the track. And it's nighttime, so I get up there and I see it, and I'm nose wheelie, and I see this little thing, and it's like the tire. I hit it, and it just stopped me, and I'm picking it right up in there, and I flip over because it was on top of the tabletop, and I hit so hard on that ground, and so I try to get up and like woo, and they turn the lights off on me. Yeah. So and then they show it on TV. But it was because they did the little Bobcat thing, and that was embarrassed. And then I came back and I ended up crashing again. And I ran in that hay bale that night and jumped off the finish line.
Crazy.
Got sixth.
I like that, you know, I got sixth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Motocross of Nations I had on my list. Like we always had fun going over there. That was always cool. Like those people we went, they like loved him like more than anyone I've ever seen. I think because you didn't go over there much.
Yeah.
You didn't do all the European races like these other guys.
Bubba.
Yeah.
So when you came, they were loving it.
Remember my tooth was hurting that year?
Yeah.
The first year, and I had Bodner shoot me. I had broke my wisdom tooth, needed to come out, and so I think I cracked it or whatever, DK whatnots.
Was that at
first year of Motocross of Nations? And
yeah, and there's so much pressure on everyone for there, and they had all these meetings they wanted James at, and don't blow it. And he comes there with a toothache. I think we wrecked in the first moto, and then you ended up doing good, but you did fall.
Yeah,
just slid out, nothing bad.
No, I just fell over.
Yeah.
And then Ricky got hurt, so they put Ivan in, and he was hurt, so he came back just to, race there. And it's funny how like politics, because they wanted Suzuki and DeCoster, so they wanted him. And you probably could think of, a couple other people that's been racing that would probably been better. And Ivan held his own in the first moto, but I remember like the second moto, like he comes up and he's tired, like, cause he hadn't been racing.
He's like, you got to.
And then so like I'm the captain of the team, and Ricky's there. So, I mean I crashed a few times that year, so they're like, just don't blow it. So a little tip over, it was bad. And then, but it started back in remember Steel City. there was a Motocross of Nations dinner.
Yeah, dinner. Yep.
And I remember like, yeah, that thing.
Scott Taylor made that whole video.
Yeah. Oh, he made a video of it?
Well, no, he did the whole thing. He's the one that kind of like put it together to have this whole dinner and make a big deal about it.
Well, yeah. And, but I remember crashing. I remember crashing during the week at practice. I hurt my shoulder and I went up to Fisher. You remember this probably. And I told Fisher like, hey, like I'll still go, but my shoulder's like messed up. Like, otherwise I'm just show up at the race. And he's like, don't worry about going to the dinner. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'll let him know. Well, he told those guys, he was like, I don't know where he's at on there.
Yeah, everybody was mad. They thought he dodged the whole thing.
They
like,
thought
we did this whole thing for him, but he's not even here.
Yeah, and then so
I bet Taylor was heated too.
Yeah, I mean, but it was all, and unfortunately, like that's kind of how my relationship was. I mean, he felt that's why he ended up leaving. Well, probably one of the reasons. But that's how it was with Fisher. It sucked. Like it was just, things like that. But yeah, it was big old dinner, and he was like, I don't know where he's at. From there, and of course, I take the heat. And then I remember being pissed that weekend. Pissed. I remember like being in the motorhome, wouldn't even go out. Like I signed autographs, went back to the motorhome. Like I came out, just got on a motorcycle, and I went back to the bus. Like I didn't want nothing to do with the team. I was so bummed. And I look at it now, I'm like, the only person that was hurt was like you, because I'm like, I was so mad at the betrayal, and then just the whole fact that like he knew it, but
he probably don't even remember. Fisher doesn't remember any of this. He probably doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't think he knows anything that he did. I mean,
I always
like
used
you didn't
to
know
with.
You didn't pay your bill. Like how,
I know,
we do things we don't know.
No, it's more power to him. Like it's taught me lessons. Like he's one of many. I just remember him flying off that damn berm back when he was like,
yeah, that's right.
I used to always tell him like, you can't tell me, like, talk to me when you land off the track right. Like there was a highlight video back in the day. He goes flying off this berm. And I used to always like, you can't tell me how to jump. Look at what you did. Yeah, I always messing with him,
But we did win that year, Motocross of Nations. And back then it was an honor to be picked. Like it was cool to go.
Yeah, but like, remember how much heat we got? Like, because Kawasaki didn't want me to go. Like when we were on
they hated going because it was so expensive.
The 125s and stuff. So people thought like it was me, and I'm sure.
Well, they didn't want you to go. Honestly, Kawasaki's thought was the 125, you're kind of like the guinea pig out there. So you're out there just getting hammered. You get last gate pick. You don't get a good start. You're just out there getting roosted for America, really, is the way they took it. So I get, they've never liked that race. So it's not you.
No, it wasn't even that. But like I took the heat because it was like I didn't want to go. Like on there, and again, like maybe I wasn't like jumping up and down, but it wasn't like
you weren't
I got asked. Yeah, and I'm like, no, it wasn't gonna go.
Well, what they typically do is ask the team, will you support it? And when they say no, then you don't even get asked anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely anti.
Yeah, I mean, and they knew. I mean, knowing my history, like I was going to win anyway. So you put me in a bad pick. It's just taking chances, unnecessary chances that I was going, and I was young. I was their golden boy. I was the next one to come up because Ricky went to Honda. So the last thing they want to do is put me in a situation. So it wasn't even an option to go until that year, 2006. I got picked. But even then, it kind of sucked. Like on there, I remember winning. We won, and I was so mad because like it was like we won as a team, but I lost. On there, like it was weird.
Well, that's what you weren't used to. Like you didn't win the race, but we won.
Yeah,
and it's weird. You're this weird team.
Oh, you're saying that
you're normally not you're normally not all working together either, and that's kind of different, which is what I liked later on. But you're like usually you're all enemies. You're all here working together. You're not trying to win the race. You're just trying to get the best score.
Yeah.
And that's what you're not used to, right?
Well,
you just want to win.
It wasn't that. Like, I actually didn't have a problem, like, doing it for the team. It was more like, I'm like, why? Because, like, I get up there, and that's when Everts, it was the last race. He was talking about pride. Like, he was like, I'll never roll over. Like, if he could have beat me, like, I was like, look, dude was going fast, but, like, at the end of the day, I'm trying to just win this thing for the team.
Yeah.
And then
because that's what they talk to him about the whole time. Don't do it for you. Do it for the team.
Yeah. It's like, so don't blow it like on there. And then when Tedesco tells me that, I'm like, all right, cool. So I go out there and ride like nervous.
Yeah.
And we win. I'm like, yeah. And then I just get beat up like on the thing. So So the next year I was like, hell, all right, I get my chance again. I'm going out, and I won, and then I ended up crashing the one moto. But yeah, it was that's what it was more about, not the team. Yeah, because Ricky was whooping my ass all year. I was kind of getting used to getting second place a few times. But so it wasn't that. Yeah. It wasn't that.
What's my next thing here? So Canada, I remember the guys. So when we first did that, I think it was 2006. You have the pictures up here. The World Supercross thing is when they first did that. And I remember Big B, the truck driver, did not want to go to Canada. So he was so against us going to race it because it was in preseason. Mm-hmm. And in the meetings, they're all yelling at me that you weren't ready, you're not prepared, kind of like what you're saying Rick did early on. Well, this is later in your career. They're like, he's not even ready. He shouldn't even be going to this race. We need to wait to Anaheim. And I'm like, well, we're racing it, and if he wins, you can't. None of you come hug him. Like, don't come up there and act like you're all part of it if you're against it in this meeting right now. So then when you won, I said, don't hug him. I told you, don't hug him when he wins.
How do we remember that? That's probably why it started separating the team right there. Oh, yeah. And I probably looked at it like, all right, well, I guess
why are these guys not coming over here to hug me? Because I told them you better not come hug me now.
That's funny. That was my guy.
In the meeting.
Yeah, and like the one thing you would let me know, like on stuff like that, not like telling or trying to like create problems, but he was always honest. Like, hey, look, like just know the fact like they were against you going up there. We're gonna go. So, that was kind of how he is, and I appreciated that. And but it's funny that I wasn't ready because we just won. They
just didn't want to go.
Yeah, they didn't want to go. So we just
wanted to get out of going to Canada. No one liked that either. That was like the thing thrown on everybody to go to this race. No one liked it. It was a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the number 7, like it was fun to be part of that because we had to like come up with like the 7 number was not a cool looking number. So it had the Factory Effects, Fox, everybody working on making number 7. So it was kind of fun. We looked at a whole bunch of 7s and had New Beginning on the back of the pants.
Yeah. Remember, I almost went 3. I almost went with number 3 because I think I outpointed Brownie or whatever, and I could have chose number 3, but we ended up going 7.
I think we did 7 because there wasn't really any iconic 7 guy. Like I remember Larry Ward was 7, but like no one, Larocco here and there, but no one that really was like made that number cool.
Well, and it's funny you say that because those are one of the reasons I picked it was because of those guys. Like I used to love Mike Larocco, and then Matasevich was number 7. So yeah,
I don't remember Chicken being 7. Really, he probably was.
He was 7. Yeah,
that was the gear. You always wanted to look like him. I think when you were younger, I always remember the
him and Bradshaw
had on.
Him and Bradshaw. He was number 7.
Yeah,
I think so. Look it up, Cole. Jeff Matasevich, number 7.
I remember when Chicken was 20.
I remember when
the hard part is those guys, they change their numbers every year.
They had to.
That was the old rule.
It's change your number when you got. And I think Ricky was like the one guy that kind of stopped that.
Well, that was Bruce's idea to be able to have like a brand. There it is. Chicken.
Yeah. I know my
That's
stuff.
the high flyer. You must have had a high flyers card.
I did have high flyers. Yeah, I used to have them. Some of them I had in like little plastic things.
Those were ahead of their time. They would do good now. You didn't make a 7 one.
Yeah,
Roger.
I think I probably still have them too.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was that, and then because I used to be always Kawasaki fan. So yeah.
Yeah. Then the Hangtown Stress. That was more of me talking earlier, just the battling with Roncada. We kind of already talked about it. Like that was.
I had trigger finger.
That was tough.
Night. That was tough. Like I'm telling you, I was a lap from giving up. Like I was like, dude, he can have it.
You know what? You asked me earlier what the toughest times were. I think Hangtown every year was always the hardest. Because every year we come in and you aren't feeling as good as you should be. And that track is always high speed, small chatter.
Yeah.
Like totally different. So
different than everything else.
Yeah. Well, like the bikes aren't set up for there. So we would always struggle there. And I remember we took the bike all apart, changed all kinds of stuff to try to make you comfortable. And it kind of worked, but I don't think you ever were great there on the bike like the way you felt.
Yeah, well, I think there was only 2 years that we really raced it like correct, and that was Hangtown. We would have been worried. In 2004, excuse me, 2005 we were worried because we were on the 2-stroke again.
Yeah, and
then 2006, we just had the 4-stroke, so we were kind of excited to get back in, and we ended up winning. We went 3-1 that day or 2-1 or something. in 2006. But yeah, in 2002, I don't think we were worried because like, I mean, it was like first time there, and that track was actually good that year. And then 2000, yeah, we were hurt in 2003, so we really raced it 3 years. Yeah, we won 2 of them, 2 out of 3.
But it was always stress on me because every time we're like trying to figure the bike out, suspension apart.
Yeah,
and you have no really like settings that worked yet. Normally you have settings already that you know worked at a different track. Like you have nothing. You just got to figure it out.
Yeah, and thinking about it, like we had 3 years in a row, the last 3 years in a row, we came in and everybody was running 4 strokes, and we just had a little bit of taste of the 4 strokes at Vegas that year in 2004. So we're like, all right, here we go. So we had a battle with Roncada, and then 2005, we're 2-stroke again going against that. So I can understand why, like, all right, here we go again, like, you know, being nervous. And in 2006, it was the first time we rode a 450 outdoors. So for him as a mechanic, I can understand why he's like, dude, I don't know, like, you know, coming in, because we always had a challenge, or, you know, we were kind of at a disadvantage. So
who was suspension guy back? Was it Graham?
Well,
Graham was the first year.
Yeah, Graham. Then it was probably Kaipo, right?
Yeah, Kaipo was, you know, 2007. We had Sergio for a little bit.
Yep.
What's the guy? He's in the photo. Remember the photo at Butts Creek? I was trying to figure out.
Brett Leaf?
Brett Leaf. That's the guy.
Oh.
So
yeah, when you're scrubbing, that famous scrub, he's right in the picture in the
He's the guy right there, Brett Leaf. And he was funny because he used to always be late for the airport or something. Or
well, he drove from Elsinore. Like he was always, and he's so mellow. Like he's hilarious.
What did
he do? He did forks.
Yeah.
So Rick Ash did shocks and motors.
I didn't know Rick did shocks.
Yeah. Oh. So Rick was a shock guy and a motor guy, and then Brett. There's Brett right there.
That's Eddie Casillas in the asterisk, and then Brett. That's the guy I was trying to
Brett's
think of.
Brett's probably like, dang it, I should have stayed on that team.
That was the first year he left too.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, that was cool to watch you do that.
That was a good day.
Now everyone tries to scrub. It's like a normal thing now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. It's like you don't race. You can't even race without scrubbing. It's natural. Yeah. I don't even think you call it out anymore.
Yes,
it's just part of the game.
You could say you changed the game.
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
And then here's the burnt by Wendy's chicken sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I teach my kids this one. You got to pay attention to what you put in the microwave.
I just like hearing this story from you because I've heard it a couple different times and I didn't believe it.
I'm getting hot even thinking about it.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not a normal thing. You don't hear of it much. But and back then, we didn't. You know, whenever James was injured, didn't say anything. Like they didn't want anyone to know because kind of give the competition a little bit of an edge there. So they didn't really know. So
no one would believe
we didn't even
anyway.
know. Well, this story for sure. This is a different one. But yeah, he was here. You were all alone. Your parents and your brother were at an amateur race. Yeah, he was riding little pit bikes because my brother actually always gave you 110s. He'd always hook you up.
Joel.
Yep. So he would always have him some cool bikes, and that's what I thought was really cool with you. You would ride motorcycles, your 125, 250, whatever, all day. Be done. Come ride your pit bike.
Yeah.
Get bored. Put your gear back on. Go ride, and then come back, and you're like sitting around, and you get bored, and you go ride your pit bike again.
Well, it wasn't
you went your sweats this time. That was the problem.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't much to do in the residence inn in Irvine over there. I was saying about I used to go race those races. I think it was like Tuesday or Thursday.
You were making gas money.
I was making gas money back there. We'll keep that story for another time. But they're like, well, how are you taking this money? I'm like, well, I need that one, buddy. But it was
that was fun, right?
Yeah, that was 110s. It was fun. That's when I was riding at Biffalo and all that. I used to ride. I love riding. And but I was here, and it was in between the West Coast and East Coast break. You know, so the next race was like Dallas, like 8 weeks off. So my parents are gone. I think they were in Texas because it was around March or April right now. And that's when Texas Nationals were. So they were gone. So I was here around my pit bike. And back then we used to have this, 60-gallon drum fuel. And I would just, I would route my pit bike and then just roll up to the thing and just like pump it like with my hand. Well, I overfilled it. I'm here alone. So I got this, the night before I got this, I love Wendy's spicy chicken sandwiches, right? So I get this chicken sandwich and back then they had the aluminum foil on the outside of the chicken sandwich. So I threw this baby in the microwave, all happy,
This is a true story.
No,
too.
it's
a
true.
true story.
Now I got the scars to tell you. So I throw this chicken sandwich in the microwave, and next thing I know, the thing sparks, right? So I'm like, oh, no. So I reach in there, and I pull the thing out, or a little piece. So let me back up a little bit. I had these sweatpants on, and, so when I spilled gas because it overflowed. So I put the chicken sandwich in there. Thing sparks. I pull it out with my hand, little piece. I saw it floating down. It was like in slow-mo. And it hit my pants. My whole leg caught on fire. That stop, drop, and roll shit don't work. I tell you that much. Dude, I'm like rolling around, like freaking out. And the pants that I had on, they were like nylon, and it just melted to my leg. And so I'm like freaking out. I pull my pants off, and like luckily for me, when I pulled my leg off, the thing stuck to my skin. So I pulled all my skin off. I got 3rd-degree burns, like I'm crying.
Gnarly burns.
Gnarly.
Scars.
I'm here by myself, freaking out. So I'm like, I got to go to the hospital because, it was bad. I was in so much pain. And so I'm driving to the hospital by myself with 3rd-degree burn leg. And I ain't got no gas in my car. So I got to pull over. I'm at the gas station crying and I'm pumping gas on there with 3rd-degree burns on my leg. So I go to the hospital. And they were like, oh, my God. So they put me I was in the emergency, emergency thing. What do you call them? Like the next level up. Well, I was in that.
The ICU?
Yeah, ICU. And I was in the hospital and didn't ride. I was in the hospital a few days still by myself. And, this was in between, like I said, the break. And I didn't ride at all until I showed up at Dallas.
Yeah, because we didn't even know if you're going to be able to put your boot on.
Yeah, and I think I told him
to try.
And I couldn't put my boot on. I remember trying to put my boot on one time after wrapping this thing up. And it was 6 weeks or something. And I just remember getting to Dallas, and I stuffed my foot in the boot in pain. Oof. And then went out there and won the title that night and not round for 6 weeks. And then that was in 2003. But yeah, goddamn
Spicy
chicken sandwich.
Almost
They spicy, baby. They spicy. So
and
kids.
I don't think anyone knows that story.
No, it's the first time I ever told it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm getting hot thinking about it. Yeah, I got a 3rd-degree burn. Like, part of my leg's white. That's why on this side I can't dance right. Like, the other side I'm smooth, but this side I can't get it right. So it was, this chicken sandwich. And, imagine telling, hey, Bruce.
Yeah, I can't make it this
I
week.
can't win this. I can't raise damn chicken sandwich. It's hot.
Yep, it was hot. A little too hot.
Too hot for my own good.
And then
and I got in trouble. My dad was pissed. He was pissed. He's like, Junior, why you burn yourself? You know better. I'm like, no, Dad, look, my legs is gone. And I'm like he was like, it's not right. I'm like, Dad, I'm hurt. I want to be comfort. He was like, stupid. Well, you racing. Oh, you racing. We winning this title, Junior. We ain't doing that. I was like, all right. So.
And you won.
I won. It was one of the best races I had all year, too. I was dominating. It was good. One-legged.
Well, that works right in the next one, how tough you were, because I remember you broke your collarbone.
Huh.
And you, at Vegas, remember you flipped right into the mechanics area. The scariest thing I ever seen. You endoed right in there. And you broke his collarbone.
Yeah.
And then he had it plated, and he wanted to race the first national.
Yeah.
And you were doing push-ups at Kawasaki to prove to us that you could ride. And they're like, no, we don't want you. Yeah. We don't want you to ride because we're thinking longer term.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking title right now. We're thinking future. And he was so bummed he couldn't ride. But I couldn't believe he could do a push-up, honestly.
It was
after surgery.
It was 7 days. I remember it was Sunday or Monday because I had surgery on a Tuesday. And they plated this thing. And I was doing push-ups by the end of the week. And
people that break their collarbone, think of that.
I got the scar to prove it. It's right here.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's on this side. I got another scar on that one. Yeah. And I still got that plate in there. And
if they would have let you ride, you would have won the title.
If they would have let
Ryan Hughes ended up winning because they canceled.
Langston
won. That's right, because they canceled.
The Troy twice.
The one that rained out.
Yeah.
Troy, Ohio.
Yeah, Rhino was 5 points behind Langston, and him and Brown, they were leaking oil big time. It was an oil spill, BP oil spill up in that thing.
Well, you won every race. You came back.
Yeah.
Every one, no problem.
Yeah, between, I missed those 4 races in the beginning part of the year, but between 2002 and when I lost in 2004, it was 28 or 32 motos in a row I won on there. Longest streak, but Scott Taylor, you know, he wasn't allowed that because he was like, oh, you missed him 4 races on there. But if you go back to the end of 2002 at Millville, I won every moto from Millville 2002 until second moto Red Bud in 2004. Every moto on there.
That's hard to do. Like you look at it now, people are happy if they win one weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we only lost
impressive.
3 overalls in my whole 125 career. We only lost 3 overalls. I think we lost like maybe a total of 9 motos out of all of them.
That's crazy.
Like we won so much, you expect it. Like you don't like it's weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you let go there knowing like we're winning today.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a thought to lose. It's like, oh, and that's when we started. Like, I remember you putting me, like, you called me a retard or something because I was like, I want to win this race by like a minute.
Word anymore, but we did. Yeah,
you won by a minute.
You did win by a minute.
Yeah, but it's just like setting another goal.
Well, yeah, I mean,
by a minute. I mean, why do you got to just 30 seconds? He did that all the time. That was plenty good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Because, like everyone will tell you, if you win the race, it doesn't matter by how far.
True.
But what if you were 59 seconds ahead and you wadded up because you're trying to win by a minute? Like what?
Well,
that was him though.
I always thought like the opposite. I thought if I didn't have a goal because I knew I was gonna win, that I would get hurt like on there. So I always kept setting like reasons to do stuff. That's probably why I kept taking out lappers. I had to keep my mind like preoccupied because winning wasn't even a thought. Like,
that's the crash right there. That was terrible.
Jbone, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I still think that to this day something happened to that bike. I think so, and like
it looks weird.
It's just the fact that you know how like that year, like I was so dialed in on that motorcycle, and I made the mistake a half lap earlier getting on that tabletop, but I went in that corner too far inside, I slid out. But to like do that, like I still can't understand how that happened. Like
we dynoed everything after that because we were trying to figure it out.
Yeah, like I
took the whole bike and put everything on the dyno.
Yeah, it just goes and
the
like
bike was fine.
Yeah.
I would have thought the same thing.
But back then, I mean, jetting was such a big deal. Like it could have been a bog right there that was enough to do that, to get him to throw his weight off.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, I can't really remember.
You don't remember? We couldn't ask you.
But I mean, remember this quad thing I was jumping?
Was awesome. Yeah.
That was gnarly. And
you'd like wheelie up to it, set it down. Well, and the crazy part is when we do the track walk, he would say, hey, do you think I could do this? And then if I said yes, then I knew he was going to try it. So that was always a hard thing for me, what I should say. You should do it. Then I remember one time, I don't remember what race it was, but I told you to like triple in a race, and you won the race. But like, I knew if I put something on there, you were going to do it. And that's actually like scary because if he does it and crashes, you're on like it's on you.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was like a scary thing because if I say you could do it, you were going to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
I remember us looking at that quad. It was gnarly.
Yeah, it was gnarly. And the only way I remember the guy said that's a 125 jump or something. They were just scared to hit it. But I mean, you had to wheelie into it. But that thing right there, when I slid out, I mean, that was on me on there. It was just too far inside. But I was just so dialed in on that bike, man, that I don't know how that happened. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
We didn't figure that one out.
Yeah. And I remember going to Vegas. We always struggle with jetting in Vegas on there, because being up at altitude, it was so dry.
Yeah.
That, like I don't know, maybe it was because it does look like a bog, like on there.
Yeah, like I'm only thinking that now when I watch it, only because you like see like a little hesitation there right before you take off. But you had a big bog here on a 250 two-stroke.
Yeah.
It's like a video pulls up all the time on YouTube back then.
Yeah, it's always gets in the recommendations on YouTube. Yeah, I always get it. But I was laid out.
Happen. That was stressful for me. Like back then, you're always messing with jetting and trying to get it right, and it was hard.
Yeah, especially in 2004 when we went to unleaded. Mm-hmm. The bikes are already slow, so you're trying to create this power without having the thing detonate. And yeah.
Yeah, I'll be on the phone with Scott trying to jet it back here in Florida when I'm out there. It was always something.
Yeah, I was laid out.
Every day I got phone calls. Like you were never off.
Yeah. Well, I was off right here. Yeah, I was off. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not good. That was right in front of me. That was like that was the worst one for me.
Yeah.
Being that close to
that's partly why I'm afraid of triples. That when we're out there, even though I crashed on the double part.
You were afraid of them way before that.
I know, but that one put me over the top.
I get why you are now.
Yeah, and
Now
I
it
crashed on
makes
the
sense.
double. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So then what else? Scrubbing, like just obviously we already saw that, but like you used to like pass people like underneath them. You remember you got landed on at one of the Anaheims because you like scrubbed so fast underneath them they didn't even know you were there.
Oh, Pingree.
Yeah.
Pingree did it. Yeah, it was like a practice.
Yeah, you like shot like under him, like everyone's jumping like this, and he shot like this and like went under him. It was crazy.
Yeah, that
Never
was.
seen anything like it.
Yeah, that was before they even. That was a year before they even talked about the scrub. That was
Really?
in or maybe it was. Nah, it was actually Phoenix. It was Phoenix, because I remember like scrubbing on the Pingree and.
It was Phoenix.
Yeah, it was Phoenix.
So that was always, cool stuff that he was the guy that did that first. I thought was cool. And then your whip speed we talked about. I wrote that here because it's still unbelievable to me. It seemed like Reed would complain about how big they were every time because you'd be the only one. There was one, I think Dallas, you were the only one hitting them.
That's the one you ran in the boat.
They were humongous.
Yeah.
The biggest ones I've ever seen, and they cut them down.
Yeah, there was that race, and there was an. Oh no, you're talking about.
You would have won by a minute, easy. With those ones.
Yeah, you're talking about the one that was in my foot story in 2003 practice. They were huge on there, and they were big in. They were big in 2006 too, where Ricky hit the boat, but they just got like cupped out in 2003. They were the biggest whoops I ever seen, and like no one. I think Reed might have went through them a few times.
No one skimmed them but you.
No, in the 250 class, like nobody in the 125 didn't even think about doing it. But in the 250 class, they weren't even going through them. And this is when we had Friday practice.
Yep.
And then so they ended up cutting those things down for Saturday, but they were huge. And I came out the corner just clicking up like, yeah.
Yeah, and I helped the AMA a little bit this year, so I heard a lot of riders complain about whoops.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was like, man.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, they're lucky to have you on that. Like when he told me you're with the AMA, I was like, that's cool. That's cool because like it's different having like you're still in the sport. Like you've always been cool. Like you get along with people and like you know what you're talking about. And to think again, just from riding, like you kind of see things and you've been around.
Yeah, you see from every side.
Yeah, like been working for top guys and then running teams. So you've seen it from every side. So they're lucky to have you on that. And then when he told me that, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, at first I didn't know if I liked it, but the more I got into it and you kind of like try to really, like if you want to study that video and we try to figure out like what really made you crash, like that's what we do. We study. So it makes it fun. You're trying to figure, it's like an investigation. Then it got fun. But at first I'm like, man, all it is, everyone's complaining to me about the track. I mean, the first race, they're pulling over, yelling at the whoops, but they were a little too tough for the first race, I thought.
Well,
I mean, you would have skimmed across them, no problem, but there was people struggling. I had some guys telling me they need to make them so we can jump them. But you can't cater it to every person. That's the thing that I don't. And that's what they're good at not doing is folding because a couple people say it. Like I started going around and getting more of a majority.
Yeah.
And then we do it from that.
Well, I think now like it's been a while since you had whoops, and I talked about it on the recap. It's been a while since I'm like, now actual whoops play a part in the race now, but they're not dangerous. They're not dangerous, just big, and so you've been years without having that type, and years where by the end of the night you can like jump through them, so it kind of like eliminates the bike setups and all that stuff. But I never saw one whoop section that was like, damn, like that's tough. It was gnarly. Anaheim 3, I think it was. They were big, but they only get tough when they get worn out. And then, and then the guys, like you got some guys that's trying to jump. I had my boy Roxon, he was like doubling through those things. But yeah, I think, all the tracks seem fair. The only thing I don't like is the sand sections. Like, I don't like that. I think you put one sand section in there, it makes half the track one-lined. Like by putting one section, and it just makes it, it's just like you have these cool designs and you put that in there, it just changes the whole landscape where you can't even utilize the track. So whoops are good.
I'm not a fan of the sand sections either.
No.
The one where Craig and what's the name got into it?
Oh yeah, Freeze.
That was good, but the one at Anaheim.
Well, because there was two lines, that's why you.
Yeah,
liked it.
that's the thing.
The one at Anaheim, they came together.
They came together,
line.
and that's the most of them. Like
so that's the one Anderson went and hit Roxon.
Yeah, but he hit him because it
way too much.
well, they came together like
Yeah.
on there. It wasn't anything. And then they had another one at Anaheim 3. It was the same thing. When you kind of make them into 90s, that's when you have the problem.
Yeah. Do you remember earlier when Tampa had a cool sand section because it was a straightaway? It was like super difficult.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a turn, I think,
It was
is
more
why
like
it was
rollers,
cool.
weren't
Yeah,
they?
they were rollers. It was this white sand.
Yeah.
But they've only done that one time. But that was pretty cool because
Yeah.
it was different.
Yeah, it was cool. And I think when they, like, you make them where they put those moguls in there and then they become 2 lines, but at least it's better than going into the 90s. I think one of the better sand sections was in like 2000 Atlanta in 2013, where there was like a wall jump and Davey was jumping like 3, like Millsaps was jumping farther than anybody else was into it. But when you just get them all the same, and if you want to put them in like a rhythm section or a place where like you have rollers or jumps, it just, you create way more opportunity. When you put them in those 90s, it just shuts down the whole track. And if you look at half the tracks this year, like when you put them in a 90, the whole track ended up becoming like one-lined. So compared to like the incident with Freezy, like you had the options and all that. Because I thought the Anaheim tracks, a couple of them that you did the sands, were actually could have been really good.
You say I didn't do it.
No, I know, but like just like Steve Whitlock,
Yeah.
you know, like you know,
you get the blame.
hey, they
Yeah,
come
you
to you.
worked there.
Yeah, no, you be like, man, I don't like it. Everybody comes to me and complain, but they come to you because like it's like you're like, I ain't building this thing.
Well, that's the one thing they did like, they said, is that we were getting feedback, which they normally don't get. So the riders were coming to us more. We were talking to the riders more, like we were trying to bridge that gap of, because for a while there, it wasn't that way. So that's what they want. They want them to come to us if they need something and if there really is a safety concern, not just to complain.
Right.
Yeah.
So they did, it got better.
Well,
and as I did it, it got better. And I kind of did that just to do something to be part of the sport, because I've been working at, Coy kept me at JGR, so I'm working on the machine shop side. So
yeah,
I'm learning something totally new, and I wanted to do something that I know how to do well and go to the races. And I think that was more for me. Like, I like being home with my wife and kids, so I didn't want to do outdoor. And then I took a couple races off to take my kids racing.
yeah,
And it's hard because I'm having fun at home and I want to do that. But at the same time, I needed something for me to not totally like shut it out. Like you were good at shutting it out. Like I wasn't good at that part. Like I felt like I needed to go talk to my friends still. Like it was weird.
Like you're funny you say that. It wasn't that. Like I think, as you know, like just scrutinize is different. When every time you speak, like people take it in like different ways, like, and they can run with it. Like that's why I shut up. Like it wasn't me shutting it out. It was just, I knew like whatever I said was like it had to be like thought about. Like, and then it wasn't just, I was worried about fans. It dictated sponsors and like everything. So,
and you probably didn't know what you were really doing. That was probably more of the problem, right?
Yeah. And I can't, like, I didn't have the luxury of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like then it's like, oh, he's hiding. But yeah, the reason I shut out stuff is just because like it's, unless you've been in a situation, people don't understand is like, if you live your life, like worried about how you look, everything you speak, like, and it gets taken like, in a negative or whatever way, like which is great. Cause I'm like, when I speak, people listen, but I just gotta know what I'm speaking about. And, that's why I like doing the podcast now. Cause I just speak how I am and I talk, but for the longest it was like, I can't say anything because it dictate, like I'm gonna have to answer it later on. And if I don't know, then I was better off not saying anything. So that's where it was, not being shut out. But back to the AMA, I think you bridged the gap. And when he told me, I thought that was cool. Like I'm like, I think he'll be good at that.
Yeah.
And and again, even I could tell like me talking about it right now, like you're listening. But they're lucky to have you on that. That was pretty cool.
Do you remember when we smashed the cars up
here? Yes, I do. Yeah, I think
Your dad was so pissed. Like I get it now I don't know why I didn't realize that. So we were here, right? And we all decided we were bored. I don't know why everybody was here. we were here testing. And we saw some little place down the street selling old crappy cars.
Yeah.
So we went down there with cash and we're like, what do you got for $500? So we all bought a car.
I did.
And I don't even know who it must have been you who came up with this idea, but we drove these cars here. and ran into each other, played demolition derby in the field over here. And then as they're stopping, Dino Dan's out there fixing them.
Yeah.
So every car that gets broken, he's fixing it. And he gets it back running, and then we run into somebody else. And then when they're broken, he goes and gets a tractor and he starts burying one. Just digs a hole, throws it in there, starts crushing it. And then
just smashing it with the bucket.
Oh yeah. So then it started getting not fun because all the cars are breaking because we didn't think of that part. You can only hit somebody so hard and it's going to smash the radiator and everything. So we did it for a while and then we just left all these cars in the field, one buried.
Oh, your dad was going to freak.
He's pissed. And I don't blame him. I don't even know why I thought that was a good idea. Yeah. I know better than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's like, you guys come here and buy these cars. You need to get them out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we never thought of that. How are we getting them out of here?
I mean, we were all about the now. You talking about living in the now. Like we had so much fun. I remember because Sorby was here doing that. I remember he hit one of the guys driving down 27, like full on, bam, like at the traffic light, and everybody's like looking around. And we're like, hee, like, yeah, and we got that thing here. Mine's just called Red Dragon. I think I got some photos of that thing, Red Dragon. It was like we got like 5-6 cars. It was like $1,500, something. I
remember my wife was like, "You did what? You bought a car just to smash it up,
and then you left it?"
Yeah. What were you thinking? I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I guess. But
yeah.
Big James wasn't happy, and I understand.
How fun
we sold him back to the guy.
I don't know.
We had to go back down there because he wanted us to figure out how to get him out of here. So we had to get him towed out.
Yeah. Well, Jbone, it was good catching up, man. It was good. Long time.
Should have did that before, but it's good. Yeah. Better late than never, right?
Yeah. Well, we had to wait to get it on the podcast, but yeah, I appreciate you coming down and again, like, you know, it's just cool. It's just cool, like talking about these stories. And what's cool is, you know, I haven't spoken to you like this. I mean, since probably we're working together at Gibbs and
2012. That's crazy. 10 years ago.
2012.
Doesn't seem like it.
No. Well, just the way we're talking, and it's like, you got a relationship with somebody, and how special it's like when you just continue the conversation. So, yeah, I appreciate it, and tell all the boys I said what up there, Dean, and is Patty still up there?
Patty's still up there, but he doesn't work for us.
No. It's such a big
You actually had a track there for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Everybody's moving North Carolina with a track.
The funnier part, he was doing a riding school with his wife, which his wife is actually really good, way better than him. But they were doing a school, and he's teaching my kids, and I'm like laughing. I laughed at Patrick later. I'm like, why are you the one out here teaching my kids?
That's pretty funny.
But he was good at it. He did a great job.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see him. But, yeah, Patty's a good dude. We had a good crew, actually.
No, we did.
I wish, obviously it all went better, but it is what it is. It's who we are. And
Ben was awesome.
Yeah, Ben.
Yep.
Yeah, we always had some pretty good guys. And
yeah, there was not one person on the team that I could say, like, no, I didn't like. I mean, even having Davey as a teammate, like, he was cool. But, I mean, it was just the way the industry was. Like, you switch teams, like, that's just the way it was. Like, Larry Brook hated me and I hated him until I rode for him. Yeah. And we were best friends, you know?
It's like that. Like, honestly, I mean, I was surprised. I would have told you I never would have had Chad Reed on our team, and he was on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was actually fine to work with. When you're on the side of the rider, it is a lot different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, and part of it's like, I think that's the way the rider wants it that way too. Like, it's some kind of feeling that you get, like being committed, because we're all insecure and we're all putting our life on the line. So it's like, you know, you want to have a reason and you do it, but everybody loves to do it. Like, every rider out there, you know, no matter how they finish, they love doing it. It's just certain ones do it better than others, I guess. So, yeah, right. I think it was good. Again, man, I appreciate you coming down, and I thank you for everything, like personally, from my career, and it was good to reminisce some of this stuff. I'm gonna shut this down before I start crying, because I'm like, damn, like this was good. I wish we can keep going, but that was good, Jbone. I appreciate it, and we'll get you to the airport, Roger.
All right,
we'll get you down there.
Well, thanks for having me down.
Yeah.
And, like, I appreciate you letting me part of your whole making history too. Really, like, you had to let me work on the bike and let me be part of your team. So
it's team effort.
I appreciate it there too, and yeah, happy to be part of it for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely the best part of my career.
No, I appreciate that. Well, this team couldn't done it without you, vice versa. So, all right, guys, that was episode number 7. With again, best guest, Jeremy Albrecht, Jbone. go through the story again, but we'll be here another 3 hours. So I want to appreciate him coming on, and I hope you guys like it. Make sure you tune in to the Rewind show. We'll get that going. And I want to thank Raj for coming down. I won't see him for another 4 weeks again. But as always, we enjoy it. So thanks again, Jay. And we'll see you guys next time.